Like, if someone just come right up in you and...
We are
Two stupid dudes! Adam!
Timmy!
I'm Timmy, and, well, I'm not qualified to say shit.
My name's Adam, and I don't know anything about anything.
And each week we shall be exploring the avenues of the unknown, right here in our very own hometowns.
Let's get some housekeeping out of the way just to begin with. This podcast is going to be kind of about our hometown histories, true crime events, and just things that we think nobody's really reported on like they should have, and just delve a little bit deeper into these topics, as we move through each week.
Bring what's been, in the dark and right into the light. So I would like to say thank you to everyone who went to the Two Stupid Dudes Facebook page and liked it. Over 90 likes in 3 days. I cannot believe it. You guys are just absolutely freaking amazing. All the love and support. I hope you guys are here to grow with us.
Okay, so before we get started on talking about the founding of Statesville, when we did our research, we found a lot more extensive information on Fort Dobbs and how Statesville came to be. We wanted to start with the French Indian War. I want to take a moment before we start this, saying that this is our first episode. We are not historians. We are amateur sleuths that spend way too much time on the internet researching shit that, well, frankly happened 1,000 years ago. We started this podcast because we kind of wanted to just start a podcast and have a little fun and, maybe start something that can grow over time. But if you hear something that we dismiss or something we miss, something we get wrong, let us know. We want to hear about that. We don't like getting shit wrong.
Yeah, we're fucking stupid, dude, but, we're here to learn. So if we get something wrong, yeah, let us know.
I'll refer you to the name of this podcast. Okay, let's get started, Timmy.
All right. So it started with the 7-Year War. And the 7-Year War, it was a conflict between France and Britain. And it was over North America land claims. But even though our research, we found that the land belonged to Native American tribes who was already here. But, that didn't stop them from traveling over here and fighting over, land that wasn't theirs.
Or somebody else's shit.
Yeah.
George Washington went to the French in 1754, urging them to back off the claim for the region around Ohio and Monongahela, which is near modern-day Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I would like everybody to know that freaking word was so difficult to find out. Monongahela, just say it to yourself. Monongahela.
Monongahela.
It's freaking impossible.
Okay.
But, the French were unimpressed and dismissed him after, waiting 3 days for a decision. They were like, dude, your shit sucks. You're out of here.
Yeah, when he went, he traveled to Virginia with the militia when traveling to greet the French. And on the way home, they were attacked by French soldiers on the Ohio River Valley.
But when he returned, he knew that there was an impending conflict and devised a fort necessary in anticipation for the events to come.
Dude, that's fucking ridiculous. He traveled so far to meet those guys, and it was like, haha, fuck you.
But with with tensions rising, Washington was attacked. And while his militia held out for 3 days, he was offered and accepted terms of surrender with an added condition, of him being able to return to Williamsburg. So, you can say you're a pussy and go home. Go back to Williamsburg.
All right, we're out, dude. Sorry, we didn't mean to. After the conflict ended, British responded by sending General Edward Braddock to reclaim the Ohio River Valley, intent on forcing the French back into Canada. With war impending and unease across what would become our current nation, Braddock started preparations with the road to carry heavy artillery being delivered from northern Virginia to southwestern Pennsylvania.
Now I want all you fucks to carry all of my heavy shit all the way to fuck over here. Just do it now.
Who's got my wigs? Does anybody have my wigs?
You better not have forgot that shit. So, once in the proximity of Fort We Need This Bitch, aka Fort Necessity, a band of French and Indian warriors struck, mortally wounding Braddock. Yeah, bitch, take that shit. You think this land is yours? Nah. And so Washington was forced to retreat in order to save lives of his battalion. And during this time, and because of these actions, he would be claimed George Washington, leader of men.
Washington. What? You're the best, man.
You're the leader.
Love you guys. He said he was mortally wounded. The motherfucker ended up dying. Washington, with the abnormal fear of desecration of Braddock's remains, he ordered wagons with horses driven over the burial site in order to conceal his remains. Man, I hope somebody out there loves me enough to would have done that for me in the 1700s.
Hide my shit, hide this shit.
Grab the horses!
No one is buried here.
Hide, buddy!
Hide, go! Oh.
The location was discovered in the 19th century during a construction project. He was buried nearby to avoid desecration of the remains.
The English crown took a massive hit to their wallets after dispensing so many troops around the world at this time.
With this, they needed a new source of moolah. They decided to raise taxes to recover some of their lost profits, but this was done under the guise of taxing people based on the expansion, the blood, and treasure stolen during the French and Indian War.
You guys don't understand. This would have been devastating to the colony. Therefore, it was resisted entirely in protest of the new policy, and the policy was entirely repealed eventually.
No, You say more money? No, dude, we have nothing.
Not
the plague is coming. Has the plague already come?
Not even that, it's our money.
Yeah, it's our money. It's mine.
Mine!
Okay.
But this got the populace thinking that and incentivized them, and later finally declared their independence.
Yeah,
This
they were
shit
just
is
like, nah, we're gonna have our own shit. We're done with this. This led to the 13 colonies and the independence of the United States, which would be to come a lot later.
the war would
Come to
ripple
be.
across our future nation, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we head on, let's do a summary to, help those fellow stoopies out there, just to briefly elaborate on the events that just happened.
Recap.
Yep, just a little recap. So in 1754, France and Britain, were doing their own things while the Native Americans are over here doing their own things on their land, minding their own business.
And then we got the British and French settlers moving in on their land.
So the Indians are forced to choose a side to fight with. You either fight against us or you're fighting with us.
In the end, they ended up having to leave anyways. It's kind of fucked up. Really fucked up, actually.
It is. Like, you gonna give me an option to choose to fight for my land? Bro, I've been here.
You're walking in like, hey, this is ours now, so...
So just imagine you're sitting at home, a bunch of these, wig dudes in wigs, and, people that are chain smoking cigarettes trying to take over your household.
I declare this North America. I declare you to get the fuck out.
What are you doing here, dude? I'm in my skippies.
This ended up impacting the Indians, but it also impacted the Fort Creek settlement, which many may know today is Fort Dobbs. It's located in Statesville, North Carolina. That's us. That's where we live.
Yeah, hey. Yeah. So this is, what we're getting to at the end of the day. We had to go through all of that and we're still not even quite there.
It's so hard to find facts on your local town without having to visit the Register of Deeds. And right now, we can't get an interview. It's impossible.
Yeah. And
we won't give up. We're going to get it eventually.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Fort Dobbs. It was built in 1755 and it was inhabited until 1766. During the war in Ohio Valley, North Carolina that we discussed previously, North Carolina was the first to respond, reaching out to answer the governor of Virginia, Robert Dinwiddie, call for assistance.
What kind of freaking last name is Dinwiddie? I mean,
Dinwiddie.
Dude must hate his parents. Like, how I just don't even...
Reporting for 7.
I don't even understand. Jane Ennis was commissioned as commanding officer of a provincial forces of the Ohio expedition. Adam, did I say that word right? I really don't feel like I did.
I looked up the pronunciation guide for it. I can't remember. I think it was an S.
It was
Provincial.
An S? Okay.
Wait, were we just talking about the same word?
Yeah.
Provincial?
No, that's provincial.
See, you didn't even know what I was talking about.
No, I didn't. Under Inez, North Carolina's provincial regiment consisted of approximately 450 men.
And if you think about it at that point in time in life, 450 men, that's a pretty damn big army. Like that's good hefty bit of men. It was built in 1756 under patronage of NC's Colonial Assembly during the war.
It was a large log building built in anticipation of the conflict, with tensions rising throughout the region.
So really, they were like, okay, we see all this shit going around us, we need to erect a fort.
Basically, we're like, alright, fuck this. Alright, somebody build a wall, put some logs on some shit, some shit's going down.
It was constructed by Rangers under the command of Hugh Waddell. So, just do as I say. Build me a fort, because there's bad shit around me.
It was named after Royal Governor Arthur Dobbs. I was going to do some research into him, but honestly, it's a lot to do every single person we come across.
And that would
He was
just...
the governor. Governor Dobbs.
That could go on a whole little segments of their own.
And most importantly
Honestly.
is how Fort Dobbs impacted Statesville to begin with. So we didn't want to go off on a tangent.
Yeah, basically.
Yep. So during the conflict of Waddell and his troops, they held the fort down and used him as a base of operations. So, basically just held shit down.
Colonists tried to stay close to the fort for protection during this time, just in case war did break out. Despite heavy preparations, the fort was only attacked once, on the night of February 27th, 1760, resulting in the death of 2 of Waddell's men and as many as 12 Cherokees.
I mean, I guess you built it for a reason, but at the end of the day, you didn't. I really just feel like, honestly, lives could have been saved at the fort. I don't know. I wasn't there at the time. I don't know what the deep conflict was. But maybe if the fort wasn't there, people could have been saved, perhaps.
It'd be great if people could just share the space.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
That'd be
hey,
great.
Like, you have this shit, I'm gonna take some shit, then we can both have shit, and we're gonna fight about this.
like, I'm not sure when the first Thanksgiving happened, but I thought we all settled this shit at the damn Thanksgiving.
That's
Pilgrims
I'm
and
not sure
Indians.
if that happened yet or not, though.
No, that had happened prior.
Oh, prior?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, so we...
Would you like the date?
Yeah, pull up the date.
You guys can continue,
'Cause let
and
me
I
tell
will
you-
find the date for you.
Because let me tell you what, I feel like the people who had the first Thanksgiving are like, what in the actual fuck? Are you serious? What in the hell did we cook all that food for? All that teaching and learning was for nothing, for you guys just to come over and rape and pillage and do all the other stuff.
Dude, for that matter, imagine living in 1700s. Fuck that.
The original Thanksgiving, sorry to interject, but that was on 1621.
1620. It's a
Okay, they
whole,
did that
And the
already.
time on which we're discussing now, for those of you listening, is 1756.
yeah,
All right.
so it's
Okay.
like a whole 100 years.
Remember that thing I said about not knowing shit or anything about anything?
Yeah, that's so...
I'll refer you to the introduction.
So, yeah, I'm glad we're all here learning together, but really, I mean, just think about it. That really, I think it all could have been avoided if we just went with the first Thanksgiving and, shared. Fucking share with your neighbor. Not everything is yours. Don't be greedy.
After the peace treaty and the war ended, Fort Dobbs was no longer essential for those Whig fucks, considering that the British settlement moved further west through the defeat of the Cherokees. This is Britain!
Pretty much. They took that shit to Sparta and turned it into Britain. Yep. And the fort was abandoned after the conflict died down and the fort fell into disrepair.
I don't like that.
So, at the end of the day, we built it to abandon it to let it go to hell. And Adam just realized he didn't like his "This is Britain" joke.
I didn't.
He didn't.
I would rather you have done that. It's better suited for your voice.
This is Britain!
You can just ghostwrite Timmy's jokes. That's great.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
works. That's how we do it
Yeah.
these days. Ghostwriters are a fucking thing. Everybody uses. We did not ghostwrite. We put all the work into this for it to be 15 minutes worth of us rambling.
I would say I'm a rather ghostwriter for the record.
Yeah, Lexus. By the way, everybody,
Oh,
I would like
okay.
to give it up to Lexus, our, background motivation here, because without her, this honestly would just not have been recorded at all.
Wait, are we still going?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the fort, alright, so back to Fort Dobbs. It was rebuilt at the site we believe to be the location of the original construct, and in the design of what archaeologists today believed what was the original structure. So meaning what we have built now is actually just a good hypothesis of what they thought was there.
Yeah, it's just supposed to be an accurate rendition. Nobody knows really what it looked like anymore. We didn't have any reference for it. It's just what we believed it to be.
And can we just stop for a second and see how the stupid dude made a fucking big word? I said hypothesis.
We
And
also said construct.
We also talk about how Adam always needs to get closer
Yeah,
to
it-
the mic.
Rudy, closer to the fucking mic.
Yeah, so, that actually, concludes the Fort Dobbs. So, with that being said, we'll do a quick little summary of the Fort Dobbs as well, like we did with the French-Indian War.
Basically, we wanted to go ahead and do this because it kind of precedes all the Statesville stuff and the way it was founded and how Idaho County came to be. We were just trying to make sure that we get our ducks in a row, so to speak.
Yeah, with this...
on the timeline.
Yep.
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure we did this right, and with it being the first episode and all. So, with that being said, if we had made any mistakes or obviously went on a little ramble tangent. Bullshit.
I'll tell you, we missed some stuff.
Yes. When we started the whole Statesville podcast, we wanted to do what is Statesville. But then we realized, well, before Statesville, it was obviously something. It was more vast than that. There was way more information out there. And that's pretty cool, man.
So basically, to summarize, Fort Dobbs was built in anticipation of all the conflict that they thought was going to end up right where they were, just to protect themselves from something that ended up not really amounting to anything but one attack on the fort one late night.
I mean, morbid or not, but like I said, that happened in very little casualties, and I feel like we could have definitely saved more lives just avoiding building a fucking fort at all. So let's play a game here. Let's think about it. I'm going to play an Indian. This is my land. I've already been here. Some guys come in and they're saying, hey, we're going to build a fort right here. And you can either help us protect the fort, or you can just either go on your merry way, which I don't know. I didn't see that as an option. Maybe it could have been an option. Or you're going to fight against us. How in the hell would you feel, Adam? Like, if someone just come right up in you and just come right up in you, bro, and was like, nah. Hey, man. Instantly, I hope your first reaction is, nah, ain't nobody coming up in me. Anyways, on a serious note, they just trying to take what's yours and saying, hey, we need this because we're a bunch of paranoid assholes, and we want what's yours. What's yours is now mine, and you can't have it.
Now, they could have portrayed it more like, hey, man, there are people coming to take this land, and we'd like to protect it. And you can come protect it with us.
Yeah, but they didn't get their land at the end of the day, right?
They did not.
So
yeah, they ended up fucked either way.
Yeah, I really feel like, I don't know, they were taken advantage of, for sure. Because if someone come on my land, like right up in my house right now, and was like, hey, dude, this shit's my fort now, nah.
Without being biased, the facts really boil down to these people lived here, and now they do not.
Yeah.
And no matter how you look at that, and it's not that they just said, oh, I don't want to live here anymore. They didn't just volunteer that.
After everything was said and done, the war was over, shit settled down. They just abandoned the fort they just abandoned it, and it fell down. And then, now what we have laying, or as you drive down the roads to see Fort Dobbs, you can actually see it there. Archaeologists rebuilt it, as I said earlier.
Basically as a tourist site.
Yeah, and it's their representation of what they believe the fort looked like. I think that's what my information believed to say.
I would recommend actually going to check it out yourself. It's actually a pretty interesting place. I drive by it every day at work. So that's basically the end of the episode. What we're going to be doing moving forward is we're going to try to do this in series. History, true crime, I think art and music, and maybe some paranormal stuff. Listener stories, things that we get from you guys.
So with all that being said, the plans are to release a segment, or not a segment, but a season. This season, episode 1, being history. Season 2 will be released on the second week of this month, and that will be true crime. Third week of the month would be music and arts, and the fourth week, obviously, paranormal activity.
It's really going to be great, guys. We got some really cool stuff happening, and we promise we'll get better at this as we move on.
Yeah, this is our first. Yeah, this is the first episode, so no judgment on us. Everything will get better. We are here to grow together as a stupid community. Especially learning how to talk into a microphone. This is a kind of a weird thing, to be honest. Yeah, learning how far back. Yeah, it's just, we cannot appreciate everyone for tuning in, listening, and being interactive with us. We really do appreciate it so much. Anytime you think about something stupid, think about us. Share the page with your friends, guys. Get the listeners out there, because we're eventually going to gradually, excuse my tongue-tiedness, I cannot talk to save my life. English is hard. Very, very hard. But we're eventually going to gradually expand to other areas, so outside of North Carolina and other counties and stuff, and do exactly what we did here with them. Alright, guys. Thanks. Stay tuned for future episodes. And here's a word from our sponsors.
I know one thing for certain, 2020 fucking sucked. Anxiety, depression, all that shit was high, man. It's been rough for everybody. I know that for a fact, but thankfully, if you guys know where Statesville, North Carolina is, there's a place right here for you. It's called Kansas City Hemp. Right here in Statesville, right down East Broad Street. They've got all the goods, man. Not only edibles, smokables, they've got skincare products. They even have shit for your dogs. Your dogs! That's dope as hell, right? Anything you need, they got it. If you're looking for a good deal also here, just use the discount Hoop Gypsy 10. That's HOOP Gypsy 10. Easy, right? And be sure to give them a follow on all your social medias. Kansas City Hemp. Even two stupid dudes know it's the shit.